Hi there guys, it's Martyn here, and welcome to the DVD Haul episode 35. And for today's feature we're going to be looking at this Monster Attack box set, which contains 3 B-monster films from 1959. So to get appearances out of the way, this is a pretty nice box set. I love the sort of classic artwork here of the man and woman running away. There's lots of terror, monster attack, and there's a very intimidating claw there. Classic 1950s monster movies, that is correct. So on here you have Attack of the Giant Leeches, the Giant Gila Monster, and the Killer Shrews, all of which come from 1959. And I've learned all of these sort of have their own little cult following. There's a little blurb of this box set. Yeah, all of them seem to have a little sort of following around them. I'm not too sure why, but I'll get into that later. Here's the back blurb. It's PG rated here. Black and white. These are all in black and white, of course. So yeah, let's have a quick look at each individual DVD case. Alright, so first up we have Attack of the Giant Leeches. And yes, those are your monsters in this film.
Crawling horror rising from the depths of hell to kill and conquer.
Attack of the Giant Leeches.
Then, out of the swamp's depths, again appears horrifying, mysterious creatures, thirsting for lovers' blood. What are these giant mutations whose attack on people sends the whole countryside on an endless search?
Whatever killed those people is still in that lake, and it's going to take more than dynamite to get it out.
And then brings them back to life to gratify their distorted desires.
So here's a little synopsis of what's going on, if it wasn't made clear in the trailer. It's from 1959, black and white, and only 62 minutes, so it's a very short watch. And there is also your cast list. And what is there to say about this film? I'm sorry guys, it's very, very dull. It's going to be all repetitive reviews here, but Attack of the Giant Leeches isn't a good B movie. It's the classic formula of lots of people talking, nothing much happens, then in the last maybe 5 or 10 minutes you'll see the monster in question, it won't look as impressive, and then the movie wraps up with no real sort of conclusion. Not one I'd highly recommend you watch unless you're like me and a sucker for 1950s B horror films. Let's have a quick look at the disc. So there is your disc, all bright and yellow, and as you can see on the background it's like a more full-scale version of the poster, which is quite nice. One thing I will give these movies credit for is the artwork, like the old posters, is very nice and retro, so big fan of that style, but otherwise guys, I'd highly recommend you stay away from these giant leeches. Next up in the Monster Attack we have the Giant Gila Monster.
This engine's still warm.
Say, did you see the skid marks out here? They go at a direct right angle to the direction of travel.
No digs in the macadam either. Somebody was hurt. There's blood all over this thing.
What is this black menace that kills everything it sees and hears? No human mind could imagine the enormous destructive power of this maddened, killing thing. If you're young people in love, look out. If you're driving a lonely road, you're as good as dead.
There's been a lot of livestock missing lately. That doesn't make headlines, but now it's people.
Never in the history of the United States, a monster of such size and power and horrifying hatred of man.
Let's take a look at the front. There's a menacing claw, some people in a car.
Only hell could breed such an enormous beast. Only God could destroy it.
Oh, what a tagline. Rock and roll hits. My baby she rocks. I ain't made that way. And the Gila monster crew. You can definitely tell this is a product of its time. Here's the back. So again, 1959 black and white and 74 minutes, so slightly longer. And again, guys, this suffers from exactly the same problem as the giant leeches. Nothing much happens until the last 15 or so minutes, and it still manages to be boring. It's not very good. I hear this one has quite a following, but I honestly don't get why. I can understand maybe it was a different time and things were more impactful and scary to audiences, but if you watch this, you'll struggle to think, even if you were alive back in 59, would you have found this scary? Let's have a quick look at the disc. So there's your disc all bright red, which looks pretty cool, and there again is a giant blown up version of the poster, which is always nice, but again, similar to the giant leeches, I would highly recommend you stay away from this one unless you love B-50s horror movies, because there's so many better ones out there. Finally, of the Monster Attack box set, could this last one save it all? Well, it's the Killer Shrews, so in answer, no. I do like this poster, I will say. It's quite nice with the high heel and the little tail there and a bit of blood, and
All that was left after the Killer Shrews.
see, I like that. That's pretty cool. So yeah, this is the Killer Shrews.
What is that?
It's a Sorex cericidae.
Looks like a small rat. Shrews as small as rats, perfect for scientific experiments, until they began to grow and grow into things.
They must eat 3 times their own weight in food every 24 hours or starve.
There are 200 or 300 giant shrews out there. Monsters weighing between 50 and 100 pounds.
That's as big as a full-grown wolf. Blood-curdling, horrifyingly poisonous monsters.
For the livestock. The shrews got into the barn.
The wildest of flesh eaters, threatening all mankind. Your flesh will crawl with fear at their nearness.
The shrews were out there. I couldn't take a chance.
So again, 1959, black and white, 70 minutes. So this, I'd argue, was probably the strongest out of the three. There is still a lot of talking, but in terms of any action, there's a bit more threat, a bit more danger, and I do kind of like how they get out of the situation, how they fight the shrews. The shrews themselves are very disappointing. Apparently they use dogs that were made up to be them, and it just doesn't work too well. Again, even back in 59, I struggle to assume this would have been threatening. Let's have a look inside. And here is the disc in a lovely puke green colour, I can see. And here is the poster all blown up. Again, you should definitely avoid this one unless you want to check it out. But yeah, sadly, this doesn't save the collection in my opinion. So in conclusion, why doesn't this box set work for me? Well, to start with, the 3 films they've chosen are pretty poor. I understand these are probably public domain now, they just grab what they got, but if you want to check out good horror movies or just good 50s movies, B-movies or otherwise, there are so many good ones you can check out. These aren't all necessarily B-movies, but you've got things like The Day the Earth Stood Still, The War of the Worlds, Forbidden Planet. And hell, if you want a B-movie, I'd say it verges in there, you could go and watch The Incredible Shrinking Man from 1957. That is a brilliant B-movie. These are the exact stereotypes of what people ridicule old monster movies for. They're corny, they're boring, there's too much cliche, and the monsters are utterly laughable. I'm sorry if you like these, but they just didn't do it for me. Only get if you're a die-hard horror fan, or you've got a slight inkling of checking these out, but you have been warned, they are not very good. Overall, despite some nice packaging, it was just a bit of a shame. This was a CEX purchase for a couple of pounds, so I don't know how readily available it is if you did want to pick it up. But that, everybody, is actually the Monster Attack box set right there, and there was the spine. I didn't show it earlier, but yeah, that's all for this episode of the DVD haul. Thank you very much for watching. Please leave a like, a comment, share the video around, check out the DVD haul playlist, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you all next time.